If you've lived in a home, you've probably had someone knock on your door or seen an ad that says get free solar panels today. You're not alone, and unfortunately, a lot of people are getting burned by what sounds like a great deal. I'm Bren Brewer, your favorite realtor and a real estate coach here in Conroe and the Woodlands area. In this video, I'm going to break down an important topic and the real cost of solar, how different contracts work, and why it can get very complicated when it's time to sell your home. Let's talk about how solar is usually sold to homeowners, because most people don't go out looking for solar panels. Instead, solar comes knocking. You've probably seen this play out. A sales rep shows up at your door or hits you with an ad online saying things like, no upfront cost, you'll save thousands, or this program is going away soon. You need to sign up now. It all sounds great until you read the contract. What they often don't explain is you might be leasing the system instead of owning it. There could be a 25-year loan with a lien placed on your home. And those monthly savings, not guaranteed. And often those savings are eaten up by loan payments or lease escalations. And remember, most of these sales reps are paid on commission, so they're rewarded for closing deals, not for helping you make smart, long-term decisions. I had a homeowner tell me they were promised their electric bill would drop to $30 a month, but after a hot summer, they were paying the solar loan plus a $100 utility bill because their system wasn't sized right. I've also seen contracts where homeowners thought they were buying solar, but it turned out to be a 25-year lease with escalating payments, something they didn't realize until they tried to refinance or sell. These companies also love to toss around terms like incentives or government program to make it feel official. But in most cases, it's just clever marketing. If you're not buying the system outright, you probably don't even qualify for the federal solar tax credit. They do. There are only 3 ways to actually go solar. The first one is leasing, the second is financing, and the third is buying them outright. Each one has a very different long-term implication, especially when it comes to selling your home. Now with a lease, the solar company owns the panels. You basically rent them for 20 to 25 years. These payments often escalate annually, which means that $100 now could be $150 later. Some lease agreements also include early termination fees, transfer restrictions, or penalties if you sell your home before the lease is up. Now, financing can look like a good option. No money down, you own the panels, but it's not as simple as it sounds. Most solar loans are 20 to 25 years. And here's the kicker, they almost always come with a UCC1 filing. A UCC filing is a Uniform Commercial Code lien that the lender puts on your home, not the panels. It's like saying, hey, we have a legal interest in this system, and it can make it hard to sell or refinance your house unless that lien is cleared or transferred. It's almost like a mini mortgage on your solar panels. Now, buying outright is usually about $15,000 to $30,000. It's the cleanest and safest option. You own it, there's no lien, no lease, and no strings attached when you sell. The downside is obvious, you need the cash. But if you can afford it, this is the only solar option that consistently adds value to your home. As a realtor, I've seen firsthand how solar panels, especially leases and loans, can complicate a sell. If you financed your solar panels, you'll either have to pay off the loan at closing, transfer the loan to the buyer, only if they're willing, or negotiate around it and hope it doesn't kill the deal. The UCC lien also has to be addressed during escrow. Many lenders will not finalize a mortgage if there's a lien on the home, especially one that they cannot subordinate. Buyers are often very hesitant to take over a lease. They don't want a 20-year obligation with rising payments, and if they do, the solar company still has to approve them for the lease transfer. I've had deals delayed or fall apart completely because of this. And even if the buyer says yes, the lender may say no. Now, if you're already locked into a solar lease or loan and plan to sell, here are your best moves. Get your payoff or transfer paperwork ready early. Talk to your listing agent about how to present the solar to buyers. Make sure your agent understands the UCC and can answer lender questions. Consider offering to pay off the system as a buyer incentive. If you haven't signed a solar contract yet, you're in the best position to make a smart decision. But let's talk about the big question everyone has. Does solar add value to your home? home. If the system is leased or financed, it can actually reduce buyer interest and make your home harder to sell. But what about if it's fully paid off? Even owned solar panels don't add as much value as people think. In our market here in Conroe and The Woodlands, it's not uncommon to see appraisers give little to no value for solar unless the system is fully paid off, it's relatively new, and the home's utility bills are significantly lower and documented. And the buyer has to see it as a benefit and not a hassle. In my experience, solar is rarely a one-to-one return on investment in a resale. At best, it might give you a slight edge in marketing or help your home stand out, but it won't necessarily bump up the appraised value. So if you're still considering solar, here's how to protect your future resale value and avoid a financial headache. Get multiple quotes from local and national providers. Ask for the total system cost up front. Confirm if it's a lease, a loan, or a purchase. Ask if a UCC lien will be filed. Get the full payoff schedule in writing. Ask what happens if you sell before the loan is paid off. Verify who receives any tax incentives. And consider whether you'll stay in the home long enough to actually benefit. Remember, solar only makes sense if it works for you. It's not a one-size-fits-all solution, and it's definitely not free. Solar can be a smart investment, but only if you know what you're signing up for, and sadly, a lot of people don't. So here's one last thing I want to leave you with. If you have parents, grandparents, or older family members, please talk to them about this. Solar companies target seniors. They show up during the day when they know someone's home, they use urgency tactics, and they often talk people into signing long-term contracts that they don't understand. I've seen elderly homeowners locked into 25-year leases or loans that they cannot afford, with no idea how it affects their home, their equity, or their ability to move. If you're a caregiver or an adult child, ask your family members if anyone's approached them about solar. Review what they've signed, and a 5-minute conversation now can save a lot of regret later. If this video helped you out, hit that like button and subscribe for more real estate advice without the fluff. And if you know someone who is dealing with a tricky solar situation, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to take a look and help you understand your options. I'm Bren Brewer, and I help homeowners in Conroe and the Woodlands area make smart, informed decisions, especially when there's a lot of noise out there. I'll see you next time.